the term Roman Catholic appeared in the English language at the beginning of the 17th century, to differentiate members of the Catholic Church from other Christians who use the term Catholic. Comparable terms in other languages already existed. Being Catholic is one of the 4 marks of the Church set out in the Nicene Creed, a statement of belief accepted by many churches even if not in communion with the Pope. In popular usage, Catholic Church is usually understood to mean the same as Roman Catholic Church. It has continued to be widely used in the English language ever since, although its usage has changed over the centuries. The church widely known as the Catholic Church consists of 24 autonomous churches, a Euro 1 Western, and 23 Eastern, a Euro governed by 2 sets of Codes of Canon Law. To refer to all 24 autonomous churches together, official church documents often use the term Catholic Church, or, less frequently, the term Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic is used by some governments and scholars to refer to members of the majority Latin Church within the Catholic Church. In compound forms such as Roman Catholic worship, the term is sometimes used to differentiate Western practices from Eastern. The usage of Roman Catholic to mean members of the Latin Church or Western Church to the exclusion of those who belong to the various Eastern Catholic churches does not appear in any recent document of the Holy See, and popes have used the term Roman Catholic Church on various occasions throughout the 20th century to mean instead the whole church without exclusion of any part. Origin and use of the term. Early in medieval church. The word church represents the Greek word ekklesia, originally meaning meeting, assembly, the usual Septuagint translation of Hebrew kahal, congregation, of Israel, as in Deuteronomy 31:30 and elsewhere. The word Catholic, meaning universal, was first applied the Church by St. Ignatius of Antioch in his letter to the Smyrnaeans in 110. It was repeatedly used to describe the universal congregation of the believers of the pure word of Christ in theological works such as St. Augustine of Hippo in his books Confessions in 394 and City of God in 410. After the 5th century splits that followed the First Council of Ephesus and the Council of Chalcedon, the Church split again in the 11th century, with the Western Church loyal to the Pope and the Eastern Orthodox Church loyal to the Patriarch of Constantinople. St. Thomas Aquinas repeatedly used the word Catholic to describe the Church loyal to the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, as opposed to those loyal to the Bishop of Constantinople, called the Ecumenical Patriarch. The use of the adjective Roman to describe the churches governed especially by the Bishop of Rome became more widespread after the fall of the Western Roman Empire and into the early Middle Ages. For example, the mid-8th century document purporting to be the donation of Constantine repeatedly declares that its grant of imperial prerogatives and patriarchal primacy is made to the Most Holy Roman Church. This document, though not an authentic 4th century imperial document, became a crucial theoretical statement in the Middle Ages to defend the universality and supremacy of Roman jurisdiction over lay rulers and their subjects in Western Christendom. 16th and 17th centuries. The terms Romish Catholic, and Roman Catholic, along with Popish Catholic, were brought into use in the English language chiefly by adherents of the Church of England. The reign of Elizabeth I of England at the end of the 16th century was marked by conflicts in Ireland. Those opposed to English rule forged alliances with those against the Protestant Reformation, making the term Roman Catholic almost synonymous with being Irish during that period, although that usage changed significantly over time. Like the term Anglican, the term Roman Catholic came into widespread use in the English language only in the 17th century. The terms Romish Catholic and Roman Catholic were both in use in the 17th century, and Roman Catholic was used in some official documents, such as those relating to the Spanish Match in the 1620s. There was, however, significant tension between Anglicans and Roman Catholics at the time. Even today, the Act of Settlement 1701 still prohibits Roman Catholics from becoming English monarchs. 18th and 19th centuries. The official and popular uses of the term Roman Catholic in the English language grew in the 18th century. Up to the reign of George III, Catholics in Britain who recognized the Pope as head of the Church had generally been designated in official documents as Papists. In 1792, however, this phraseology was changed, and in the Speech from the Throne, the term Roman Catholic was used. By early 19th century, the term Roman Catholic had become well established in the English-speaking world. As the movement that led to Catholic emancipation through the Roman Catholic Relief Act of 1829 grew, many though not all Anglicans and Protestants generally began to accept that being a Roman Catholic was not synonymous with being disloyal to the British Crown. While believing that in the past the term Roman Catholic may have been synonymous with rebel, they held that it was by then as indicative of loyalty as membership of any other Christian denomination. The situation had been very different 2 centuries before, when Pope Paul V forbade English members of his church from taking an oath of allegiance to King James I, a prohibition that not all of them observed. Also in the 19th century, prominent Anglican theologians such as Palmer and Cabell supported the branch theory, which viewed the universal church as having 3 principal branches: Anglican, Roman and Eastern. The 1824 issue of the Christian Observer defined the term Roman Catholic as a member of the Roman branch of the Church. By 1828, speeches in the English Parliament routinely used the term Roman Catholic and referred to the Holy Roman Catholic and Apostolic Church. In the United States, the use of the term Roman Catholic and indeed the number of Roman Catholics began to grow only in the early 19th century. Given that in 1790 there were only 100 Roman Catholics in New York and some 30,000 in the whole of the United States, with only 29 priests. As the number of Roman Catholics in the United States grew rapidly from 150,000 to 1.7 million between 1815 and 1850 mostly by way of immigration from Ireland and the German Confederation many clergy followed to serve this population, and Roman Catholic parishes were established. The terms Roman Catholic and Holy Roman Catholic thus gained widespread use in the United States in the 19th century, both in popular usage and within official documents. In 1866 President Andrew Johnson attended a meeting of the Council of the Roman Catholic Church. 20th century American Catholics, who by the year 1900 were 12 million people and had a predominantly Irish clergy, objected to what they considered the reproachful terms Popish and Romish and preferred the term Roman Catholic. In the early 20th century, the use of the term Roman Catholic continued to spread within the United States and Canada, to refer to individuals, parishes and their schools. For instance, the 1915 report of the Commissioner of Education of the United States had a specific section for Roman Catholic parish schools. By 1918, legal proceedings in state supreme courts and laws passed in the state of New York used the term Roman Catholic parish. Current usage. The term Roman Catholic is generally used on its own to refer to individuals, and in compound forms to refer to worship, parishes, festivals, etc. Its usage has varied, depending on circumstances. It is sometimes also identified with one or other of the terms Catholic, Western Catholic, and Roman Rite Catholic. Roman Catholic, and Catholic equals, in popular usage, Catholic usually means Roman Catholic, a usage opposed by some, including some Protestants. Catholic usually refers to members of any of the 24 constituent churches, the 1 Western and the 23 Eastern. The same meaning is attributed also to Roman Catholic in documents of the Holy See, talks by popes and in newspapers. Although K.D. Whitehead has claimed that the term Roman Catholic is not used by the Church herself, and that the proper name of the Church, then, is the Catholic Church, never the Christian Church, official documents such as Divni Elias Magistri, Humani Generis, a declaration of November 23, 2006 and another of November 30, 2006, while not calling the Church the Christian Church, do use Roman Catholic to speak of it as a whole without distinguishing one part from the rest. When used in a broader sense, the term Catholic is distinguished from Roman Catholic, which has connotations of allegiance to the Bishop of Rome, that is the Pope. When thus used, Catholic also refers to many other Christians, especially Eastern Orthodox and Anglicans, but also to others, including Old Catholics and various independent Catholic churches, who consider themselves to be living within the Catholic tradition. They describe themselves as Catholic, but not Roman Catholic, and not under the authority of the Pope. Roman Catholic, and Western or Latin Catholic equals, the Holy See uses the term Roman Catholic to refer to the entirety of the Church that is in full communion with it, encompassing both its Eastern and Western elements. For examples of statements by popes that employ the term Roman Catholic in this way, see papal references below. This is the only meaning given to the term Roman Catholic at that official level. However, some do use the term Roman Catholic to refer to Western Catholics, excluding Eastern Catholics. An example is the statement in the book When Other Christians Become Catholic. The individual becomes Eastern Catholic, not Roman Catholic. Similarly, the Catholic Faith Handbook for Youth states that not all Catholics are Roman Catholics and there are other Catholic churches. Using the term Roman Catholic to refer to Western Church members alone. The same distinction is made by some writers belonging to Eastern Catholic churches. That this view is not the only one, not alone at the level of the Holy See and in reference books such as John Hardin's Modern Catholic Dictionary, but also at a popular level, is shown by the use of terms such as Byzantine Roman Catholic, and Maronite Roman Catholic as self-identification by individuals or as the name of a church building. Additionally, in other languages, the usage varies significantly. Many, even Catholics, are unaware or only dimly aware that the Catholic Church has Western and Eastern branches. This is partly because, outside the Middle East and India, Eastern Catholics are a small fraction of the total number of Catholics. Roman Catholic, and Roman Rite Catholic equals. When referring to worship, the term Roman Catholic is at times used to refer to the Roman Rite, which is not a church but a form of liturgy. The Roman Rite is distinct from the liturgies of the Eastern Catholic churches and also from other Western liturgical rites such as the Ambrosian Rite, which have a much smaller following than the Roman Rite. An example of this usage is provided in the book Roman Catholic Worship. Trenta today states, "We use the term Roman Catholic worship throughout to make it clear that we are not covering all forms of Catholic worship. There are a number of Eastern Rite churches that can justly claim the title Catholic, but many of the statements we make do not apply to them at all. Compared to the Roman Rite, the other Western liturgical rites have little following. Hence, the Vatican department that deals with forms of worship in the Western Church often issues documents that deal only with the Roman Rite. Any involvement by the Holy See in questions of Eastern liturgies is handled by a different department." Some of the writers who draw a contrast between Roman Catholics and Eastern Catholics may perhaps be distinguishing Eastern Catholics not from Latin or Western Catholics in general, but only from those who use the Roman liturgical rite. Adrian Fortescue explicitly made this distinction, saying that, just as Armenian Catholic is used to mean a Catholic who uses the Armenian rite, Roman Catholic could be used to mean a Catholic who uses the Roman rite. In this sense, he said, an Ambrosian Catholic, though a member of the Latin or Western Church, is not a Roman Catholic. He admitted, however, that this usage is uncommon. Parishes and dioceses equals. When the term Roman Catholic is used as part of the name of a parish, it usually indicates that it is a Western parish that follows the Roman Rite in its liturgy, rather than, for instance, the less common Ambrosian Rite, for example St. Dominic Roman Catholic Church, Oyster Bay, New York. 7, 8, 9. The shorter term Catholic may also appear in parish names, and Roman Catholic sometimes even appears in the compound name of Eastern Catholic parishes, for example St. Mary's Byzantine Roman Catholic Church. All Catholic parishes are part of an ecclesiastical jurisdiction, usually a diocese. These jurisdictions are usually grouped in ecclesiastical provinces, headed by a metropolitan archdiocese. All dioceses and similar jurisdictions are Euro-Eastern and Western come under the authority of the Pope. The term Roman Catholic Archdiocese is formally used to refer to both Western and Eastern churches. As of January 2009, there were 630 Roman Catholic archdioceses, Western and Eastern. Name of the Church. The terms Catholic Church and Roman Catholic Church are names for the entire Church that describes itself as governed by the successor of St. Peter and by the bishops in communion with him. In its formal documents and pronouncements, the Church most often refers to itself as the Catholic Church, or simply the Church. In its relations with other churches, It frequently uses the name Roman Catholic Church, which it uses internally also, though less frequently. Some writers such as Kenneth Whitehead and Patrick Madrid argue that the only proper name for the church is the Catholic Church. The name Roman Catholic Church is occasionally used by popes, bishops, other clergy and laity, who do not see it as opprobrious or having the suggested overtone. The use of Roman, Holy, and Apostolic are accepted by the Church as descriptive names. At the time of the 16th century Reformation, the Church itself claimed the word Catholic as its title over Protestant or Reformed churches. It believes that it is the one, Holy, Catholic, and Apostolic Church. Throughout the years, in various instances, official church documents have used both the terms Catholic Church and Roman Catholic Church to refer to the worldwide church as a whole, including Eastern Catholics, as when Pope Pius XII taught in Humani Generis that the mystical body of Christ and the Roman Catholic Church are one and the same thing. However, some Eastern Christians, though in communion with the Bishop of Rome, apply the adjective Roman to the Latin or Western Church alone. Representatives of the Catholic Church are at times required to use the term Roman Catholic Church in certain dialogues, especially in the ecumenical milieu, since some other Christians consider their own churches to also be authentically Catholic. In the 21st century, the three terms Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Catholic Church continue to appear in various books and publications, and scholarly debates on the proper form of reference to the Catholic Church within specific contexts continue. For instance, the Catechism of the Catholic Church does not contain the term Roman Catholic Church, referring to the Church only by names such as Catholic Church, while the Advanced Catechism of Catholic Faith and Practice states that the term Roman is used within the name of the Church to emphasize that the center of unity of the Church is the Roman See. Branch theory There is controversy about the name Roman Catholic Church, because of its use by members of other churches to suggest that the Church in full communion with Rome is only one part of the one, Holy, Catholic and Apostolic Church. This argument is linked especially with the branch theory upheld by a minority of Anglicans. In 1864, the Holy Office rejected the branch theory, affirming in a letter written to the English bishops that the Roman Church is not just a part of the Catholic Church and stating that there is no other Catholic Church except that which is built on the one man, Peter. In 1870, English bishops attending the First Vatican Council raised objections to the expression Sancta Romana Catholica Ecclesia, which appeared in the schema of the Council's dogmatic constitution on the Catholic faith. These bishops proposed that the word Roman be omitted or at least that commas be inserted between the adjectives, out of concern that use of the term Roman Catholic would lend support to proponents of the branch theory. While the Council overwhelmingly rejected this proposal, the text was finally modified to read Sancta Catholica Apostolica Romana Ecclesia, translated into English either as the Holy Catholic Apostolic Roman Church, or, by separating each adjective, as the Holy, Catholic, Apostolic and Roman Church. From 1937 to 1972, the Constitution of Ireland recognised the special position of the Holy Catholic Apostolic and Roman Church. The Anglican Archbishop of Dublin had objected to Catholic Church, and quoted the Council of Trent for the longer title, which was approved by Eugenio Paisley and Pope Pius XI. The same name is used in a 2009 Irish law. Second Vatican Council The Second Vatican Council did not use the term Roman Catholic Church, and in one important passage of the dogmatic constitution Lumen Gentium replaced it with an equivalent phrase, the Catholic Church, which is governed by the successor of Peter and by the bishops in union with that successor, while also giving in a footnote a reference to two earlier documents in which the word Roman was used explicitly. The two earlier documents that the Council stated had applied the phrase Roman Church to the Church itself, the Church governed by the successor of St. Peter and by the bishops in communion with him, were the Tridentine Profession of Faith and the First Vatican Council's dogmatic constitution on faith. Even as far back as 1208 the adjective Roman was applied to the Church outside which we believe that no one is saved. Papal references Popes have on several occasions in different contexts during the 20th and 21st centuries used the term Roman Catholic Church to refer to the whole Church in communion with the Holy See. Example encyclicals include Divini Elias Magistri of Pope Pius XI in 1929 and Humani Generis of Pope Pius XII in 1950. Pope Paul VI used the term Roman Catholic Church in the joint declarations he signed with Patriarch Athenagoras of Constantinople in 1965 and 1967. He also used the term in the declarations he signed with Patriarch Mar Ignatius Yaku III of the Syrian Orthodox Church on October 27, 1971 and with Archbishop of Canterbury Donald Coggan on April 29, 1977. Pope John Paul II referred to himself as the head of the Roman Catholic Church. He called the Church Roman Catholic, when speaking to the Jewish community in Mainz on November 17, 1980. In a message to those celebrating the 450th anniversary of the Confessio Augustana on June 25, 1980, when speaking to the people of Mechelen, Belgium on May 18, 1985, when talking to representatives of Christian confessions in Copenhagen, Denmark on June 7, 1989, when addressing a delegation from the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople on June 29, 1989. At a meeting of the Ukrainian Synod in Rome on March 24, 1980, at a prayer meeting in the Orthodox Cathedral of Białystok, Poland on June 5, 1991, when speaking to the Polish Ecumenical Council in Holy Trinity Church, Warsaw June 9, 1991, at an ecumenical meeting in the Aula Magna of the Cola Copyright Gio Catarinense, in Florianópolis, Polis, Brazil on October 18, 1991, and at the Angelus in São Paulo do Salvador da Bahia, Brazil on October 20, 1991. Pope Benedict XVI called the Church the Roman Catholic Church at a meeting in Warsaw on May 25, 2006 and in joint declarations that he signed with Archbishop of Canterbury Rowan Williams on November 23, 2006 and with Patriarch Bartholomew I of Constantinople on November 30, 2006. Catechism of the Catholic Church equals. While the phrase Roman Catholic Church does not appear in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the Advanced Catechism of Catholic Faith and Practice states that the term Roman is used within the name of the Church to emphasize that the center of unity of the Church is the Roman See. The Baltimore Catechism, an official catechism authorized by the Catholic bishops of the United States, states, "That is why we are called Roman Catholics. To show that we are united to the real successor of St. Peter," and refers to the Church as the Roman Catholic Church under questions 114 and 131. The Catechism of Pope Pius X calls the Church Roman. View of Eastern Catholics equals, some Eastern Rite Catholics reject the description of themselves as Roman, even though they are a part of the Catholic Church. Others are proud to call themselves Roman Catholics, and Roman Catholics sometimes even appears in the compound name of Eastern Catholic parish churches, for example St. Mary's Byzantine Roman Catholic Church. Orthodox Christians use the term Uniate to describe the Eastern Catholic Churches. See also. Notes. References.